I'm talking about the people who've been here for 5, 10, 20 years, hardworking, raising families, paying taxes, law abiding, right? All of those folks, and people who are undocumented, right? Those are the very people you'd want to have come into the country if you had a proper immigration policy.
Right.
And so we ought to fix it so that we actually are doing that. And giving people who are here, who I get, some of them, by the way, have broken the law because they crossed the border, without permission, but also some who overstayed a visa and are here undocumented, that, we ought to have a path for those folks to stay.
So, JB Pritzker, again, showing us what the Democrat agenda really is about mass undocumented immigration. You have him saying that they think that mass amnesty for over 20 million illegal aliens living in America is a good idea. There's something we call that back in third world countries. It's called buying votes. Whenever these people who you suddenly give mass amnesty to, a whole 20 million person voting bloc, you essentially are saying to them, hey, we brought you into the country, we made you legal, so you owe us and you have to vote Democrat for the rest of your lives. Okay, now, this has been said a lot, even during the 2024 presidential elections, that the Democrats essentially, under the Biden administration, allowed the border to be so open so that they could replace the natural-born citizens of the United States. They said, oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Everyone pushed back against it in mainstream media, saying, well, this is yet another QAnon conspiracy by the conservatives or by the far right. But every time you hear them say this, it's very clear that they want to essentially have 20 million new votes that are beholden to the Democrat Party. But essentially, what they don't realize is that by flooding the nation with 20 million people who do not hold to the same ideologies or cultural background or history that most of the natural-born citizens whose families have lived in the United States for over 100 years have, you essentially are replacing the people, and the culture changes, the country changes, and essentially you import 20 million third worlders. What do you think you're going to have? A third world country. Now, let me know in the chat, would you support amnesty for millions who broke the law? And if you want to do that, why would you do that? And if you don't agree, why not? Leave a comment in the chat. I'll get to the chat shortly. Now, Gavin Newsom essentially has exposed his party. We're talking about immigration here. And Gavin Newsom essentially says the quiet part out loud. He owns up to the fact that he is using taxpayer-funded healthcare for illegal aliens. Let's have a listen.
People who are here in the United States legally have never been eligible for the Obamacare subsidies, for Medicare, for Medicaid. So what exactly are you saying that they're trying to do when you talk about giving free health care?
So just as a point of fact, it's against the law for non-citizens to get those subsidies.
Undocumented immigrants, as you know, are actually ineligible
That's
for
wrong.
federal health care.
Let me correct you.
Let me say it,
Yeah.
then you can talk, okay? Right now, undocumented immigrants are not eligible for federal health care programs. Democrats, as you heard, say they're not trying to change that.
That is a bold-faced lie, and it really shows how desperate they are.
And just as you said, Margaret, zero federal dollars can go to undocumented immigrants through Medicare, through Medicaid, through ACA.
Is it true that you want to restore American taxpayer benefits to illegal immigrants?
Of course not. And thank you for asking that question, because this is also an outright lie.
If you are undocumented in our country, you cannot get health care from the Affordable Care Act exchange. You are not eligible for Medicare. You are not eligible for Medicaid.
Now, when you listen to Democrats talk about illegal aliens taking advantage of taxpayer-funded healthcare, they quote the laws on the books. They say it's not legal to do this. It's not allowed to do this. We shouldn't be doing this. While they have governors of blue states essentially doing the exact thing that they say is illegal. And then when you point it out and say, hey, it's happening here, they tell you that's a bold-faced lie. But Gavin Newsom essentially, has ripped the mask off and says, look, it's happening and I'm proud of it.
For undocumented people. So they're just making that up.
Start with this. Undocumented immigrants who come across the border, who've been flagged for deportation, they cannot get Medicaid. They cannot get Obamacare. They can't get on the Affordable Care Act. That is not legal. Democrats are not trying to change that.
As it relates to undoc healthcare, yeah, I'm proud of that because I believe in universal healthcare. Others may say it, I get it. First state in the country, regardless of pre-existing conditions, ability to pay, and regardless of your immigration status. I promised that, I promoted it, I ran 3 times on it. I did it when I was mayor. People know who I am.
So Gavin Newsom says you get taxpayer-funded healthcare irrespective of your immigration status. Now, during the Democrats' shutdown, the media, the Democrats, repeatedly insisted that illegal aliens do not receive taxpayer-funded health care. Now, Gavin Newsom is exposing it and saying, look, we lied. We're doing it. And you know what? It's compassionate to do it.
Department now investigating Minnesota's massive Somali fraud scandal.
This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on.
This clown is blaming Trump for a massive scandal.
This is out of the words of a true beta. At the end of the day, if you're going to blame President Trump for everything, even the ills of your own state and the mismanagement of those medical funds, let's be honest here, this is your fault. And this is Ilhan Omar's fault. This is the federal government. It's also the state government failing Minnesota. And he sat there and really admitted it. And the idea that you're going to bring Trump into this, and President Trump has been the president for about 10 months now, is pretty ridiculous. This has been going on far before President Trump even got into office. This is their only playbook. They are still on the blame Trump playbook. And what they are still forgetting is that just 1 year ago, we won the House, we won the Senate, he won the presidency overwhelmingly, and they are still reeling as to how they're going to move.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic. We know that he called African nations a shithole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
Welcome to Headlines and History, live news reactions and your views. We're about to go live soon, so grab your spot and get ready for a sharp, balanced take on today's biggest news stories with a dash of historical insight. Stay tuned. Each week, we tackle the headlines that matter: politics, economics, global events with a balanced lens. We'll react live, tie today's stories to historical moments, and spotlight your views in the chat. From trade talks echoing the 1990s to crises recalling 2008, we're here to unpack it all. Your voice drives the show. Share your thoughts or historical parallels in the live chat, and we'll dive into the best ones. It's news, context, and community all in 1 hour. We're moments away from launching Headlines and History. Stick around for live reactions, historical nuggets, and your chance to chime in. Hit the notification bell, prep your comments, and let's make sense of the news together. See you soon.